Now we're here. Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Real Housewives of Moto. I am so excited about this one. This is my friend. I love calling you my friend. This is my friend, Monica Ramsey. Monica, how are you?
Good.
You had
Just
you had a little bit of a rough week, though. Hold on, we gotta be real.
yeah, I had a neck surgery 2.5 weeks ago. I had my C5 through 7 disc removed and replaced with artificial disc, and they went
Oh my
in
god,
right through my neck.
that's so gnarly. Like, you're a moto wife, but shouldn't we leave those type of injuries up to the men? No.
I know. It's my turn. I told Nathan all those 2 broken wrists, femur break, arm
Oh,
pump surgery, all the things. It's your turn now. So
yep,
get
yep.
figured
He
out
needs
the
to
back
please
patient.
nurse. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well, little teaser, Monica, if my girlies didn't already know who you are, because we love your little side project, which we're going to talk about. How would the rest of the moto world know you if they didn't catch your last name? Who you married to?
I'm married to Nathan Ramsey,
Nate Dog.
the first Nate dog, number 25. And yeah, he's the team manager of Rockstar Husqvarna right now, but he used to race for 16 years and, has a pretty good career that he, stacked up a lot of podiums and some wins. And so, yeah.
Yeah. He, like you, are just like beloved in the sport. Nate is like one of those names that like I'd heard for years. Like always great things. And then you and I got connected because we both launched female only podcasts. There was a third one. There is a third one, I guess we should say. But we did not know each other at all. I'm a nobody in the sport. You are an icon in the sport. You are a real housewives of Moto.
Oh,
You're an OG.
I
So
didn't know about that, but thank
take
you.
it. Take it, damn it. So you guys launched, you and Hannah launched in her lane right about the same time I launched Real Housewives and then the third one. And I got really excited about that because I was like, okay, this is so cool. We went from like 0 to 3 pods that are dedicated to women in the sport who love the sport, who eat, sleep, and breathe moto. And I remember like I just made a reel and I like tagged you guys in it. And I was like, I'm so excited about this because I had a number of people that like sent me you guys' Instagram and the other one, and they were like, "Oh my god, are you so nervous? Are you so worried?" And I was like, "Why? Why would I ever be nervous about having more female voices in the sport?" And so we connected and you and I chatted and you were doing your first remote recording with Kendall, right? That was your first remote one?
No, our
No?
first remote one,
Yeah.
we had already done in person, yes.
Yes. Yes.
Our first pod ever was with Maddie McAdoo
Yeah. Oh
in
gosh, that's
person.
so good. That's so
So,
good.
yeah.
I was stoked about that. So we're recording on Riverside now. I'm by no means a Riverside expert, but helped you guys just make sure that everything was going smoothly with Kendall. And you guys normally record, I will say, in studio. And you guys have just like such a fun energy. And I'm just like, I get so excited when I get the notification that like a new episode has dropped. So it was never a feeling on my end of like, oh my gosh, there's another female pod out there. Like you guys are in your own lane and you're killing it. And I love it. So I guess like I want to start there because I want people to know like we're in the same space, but we are friends. What kind of spurred on you and Hannah to jump into the female moto podcast game?
Well, thank you for all those kind words.
Heck yeah.
So, it's funny because, Hannah Morris, Ryan Morris's wife, she's an introvert. Like, um, it's just funny that she's the one that came up with the idea,
Oh, I love that.
and we don't speak very often. We've known each other for years, but she hit me up one day and she was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a podcast." I don't think either of us knew about yours or the other one. I didn't. It didn't come up on my algorithm at that point. We didn't know if there's any others out there, but she's like, "I just think like the time in our lives right now, and it doesn't seem to be that there's any out there. I think with our connections and our own experiences, this could be something fun. If it evolved to something else later, it's great, but it's a way to connect, tell stories." So I thought about it and I'm a yapper, but it's completely different. Like me being the one right now as the one getting interviewed is very nerve-wracking. But anyway, I thought about it and where I'm at in my life, my kids are grown. I'm a nurse. I work 3 days a week. Nathan is now traveling a lot over the last few years in his role. So I have a lot of downtime. So I'm like, you know what? I need a hobby. And I love Moto. I don't have a choice but to love it. You know?
Can't escape it.
Yeah. I mean, it's our whole life. I mean, even if you try to not talk about it, it's just, that's what it is. So anyway, I just thought I'll merge both worlds, like getting to know the girlies, not just the wives and the moms and the girlfriends, but there's some pretty rad females behind the scenes, in
Mhm.
marketing, PR. I mean, just they are the backbone that people don't realize. So I thought that'd be really cool to shine some light because as a wife, our husbands, our significant others, they're interviewed all the time, right? Their sport. And I think as a mom, and now that I'm not going to say my age, but I'm old. No, I'm 50. I turned 50 this year,
Like,
guys.
damn good. Own that
What?
50.
And I'm embracing it. So I thought, what a great legacy that our kids, grandkids get to see their dad, their grandfather. But what about the women? Like we don't have a platform to tell our stories, to have that in the archives for our families to look back on. And I just wanted to use that for these women to be able to have that little piece of history saved, locked away. So I would love that for me, for my mom. My mom passed away almost 8 years ago. And, video phones weren't popular. They weren't even around back when I was in high school. And I don't have a lot of videos that I wish I had. And her just telling her story. So for me, that's where my focus came from, and was excited. Obviously, we're not tech savvy. We didn't know what we were doing.
A lot.
I mean, yeah. And so one of my coworkers, Johnny Chicolo, he is a big Moto fan, and he's a nurse and he does editing, and his wife's an influencer. So he kind of has guided us. God bless him. He's the MVP of In Her Lane. And so he kind of helped us, drive this new adventure we were going on. And yeah, it's kind of that. Like we knew we wanted to establish ourselves, you know, in a way that was very classy. We didn't want to be catty, which if you're going to be a girl's girl, um, and you say you are, then your actions need to speak louder.
Say it again.
So, with that said, as we put it out there that we were going to do it, then we connected. I saw you had one. Obviously, just like you, people are like sending us
Mhm.
Instagram handles. Did you know? Did you know? And I'm like, no, great. Well, we're all different, right?
Very
Like
different. Mhm.
you are completely different than what our platform is.
Mm.
And so are the others that are out there. And so it to me it wasn't like a competition or a threat, especially with you, because we were two different versions, but yet supporting each other to become one. So for me, that was important. And so we just really, really focus on supporting women, and to bring people together instead of, trying to stick it to somebody that's doing the same thing that you are. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm
Yep.
saying. Yeah.
I feel that in my soul. It's funny when I made that reel about you guys and the other one like coming into the space, I quoted Adam Entignap, who at that point I had not met Adam. Now, like I was just texting Adam this morning, which blows my mind. Like every time I'm like interacting with like anybody in the industry, I'm just like, this is so freaking cool. Like I am just a fan. I am like just a diehard of the sport. And I just remember saying like quoting Adam saying that, a rising tide, right? A rising tide rises all ship, whatever that is. And I'm like, more females in this space and more women telling the stories of the women that, like you said, are the backbone of this sport. Like everybody wins. And it's just been so fun to make content, to befriend you guys, to get to know, the women that you interview on a deeper level, and be able to like send our content to my like non-moto friends, like women who never would get into moto or I live in Dallas. There's not a ton of riding around here unless you're like at a private track. There's a bunch of private ones. So like we don't see dirt bikes all that often. And so I've been able to be like I've sent the Courtney Roczen video to I don't even know how many times. Like I'm like, listen, like you guys saw me crying at that race 2 weeks ago. This is the woman that I was crying over. Like, yes, Kenny, but more Courtney. And just like the shit that you guys have to go through. I mean, like we're going to talk about your whole journey with Nate and everything, but just we talked about it off the jump, like the injuries, the knowing the injuries are coming. It's not an if, it's a when. And just like
Exactly.
the thickness of skin that you have to be a moto
Mhm.
wife, to be a moto mom. I'm just like I'm constantly in awe of that. And so I think, yeah, the more female voices we have in the space, like the better. So, you
I
know.
think, like, piggybacking off that is when, like, Nathan would watch, like, football. I mean, we're a football family, we love football, but, like, any sport, which a lot of girlfriends and wives watch it with their husbands, right, or boyfriends. It's used to be on really late, now it's all weird times according to your time zone, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm more interested in the wives, the wags, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Social media growing and them all the wags having presences on social media, whether it's Formula One, whether it's, NBA and, all of it. I was on searching the wives and I want to see what's their story, right?
mhm.
Because behind every great man is a great woman. You
Amen.
can't function if you have one or the other, right? Especially if you don't have a good influence behind you.
Mhm,
So anyway, I was always interested in their story. I wanted to know, did they have kids? How did they meet? What do they do for themselves, not just their husband's career? So for me, I know what I want as a content consumer, right? Like looking at social media, and especially you could see how Taylor Swift did that with the Chiefs, right? Like with
mhm,
Kelsey. So we are invested as women. She brought so many more ticket sales to the Chiefs games and their products. So I'm just like, for me, when I was envisioning what we wanted to do with this platform, was that to let people in a sneak peek into those lives because it's fun, it's interesting, and obviously, like I said with social media, you get a peek into that, but you really don't know how did they meet? What their background? How did it feel when this happened or this injury? So it's just a place for them to tell stories and then their families can, look back later. So
yeah, I love that. I think about, like, Maddie, because she just had a baby and, like, you get pre-motherhood Maddie, and I just think that's so special. You guys are basically just, like, gifting each of these women, like, a little time capsule of their life right now, so I think
it's a
that's so
little
cool.
journal,
Yeah, I
um,
love that.
it's to the
I
public, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
still,
everyone gets to pick it apart.
yeah,
Gosh,
but
but
it's
yeah.
still, it just means so much. And it's fun because I have Nathan our way to one of my follow-up appointments last week. We listened to Hopes.
Oh,
Because
so
he knew
good.
Hope very well, obviously, as you heard. So it's just fun, like, listening together, I noticed him go, "Oh, I didn't even know that." Well, I know that.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You
Mhm,
don't get real personal like that in the sport.
mhm.
For them to I just feel like you appreciate them more in their work and support them, in everything
Mhm.
they do. So that was fun for me to hear his side, I'm like, "Hey, let's listen." He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do it." And then he's like, "I didn't even know she did that," or, "I didn't even know that." So,
that's
yeah.
so fun. And I
Mhm.
love, like, Moto is such a family sport, but even, like, not an actual biological family, like, the way that Hope talked about Nate, she's like, "I feel like he's, like my dad or my big brother," something like that. Like, that's so cool, and, like, there are so many women who, aren't wives or girlfriends or moms of riders that are huge parts of these support programs, that make this sport go round. I was talking about on my pod, talking to, Ken's bus driver, Dean's wife, who's at home and very, very pregnant. That was like 3 levels deep of people. But it's like,
I'm like,
she I
"Isn't
know,
it?"
I know. I need a flow chart. But it's like those women who are part of, a broader support circle of athletes like Ken who, need every level of people in their corner to be able to do what they do. I mean, moto is insane, and that is, every weekend, like, your life is on the line, and there's so much that goes into it. Obviously, we're going to talk about that, but yeah, the women really have not gotten the spotlight, like they should have, until what we're doing, and I'm so stoked about it. And it seems like, I mean, 9 times out of 10, everything that I post, it's positive commentary. The only time I get hate, it is men.
Of
Like,
course, I
it's
can't take
never
it.
women.
Right.
So I think we're on the right track. I really do. And
I think too, I just wanna say applaud you. We obviously wanna have you on our pod and one day
oh my
and,
gosh, yes, I would love to.
and to talk about everything, but I am really impressed by you because, like you said, you had no connection. I mean, I
Mm-mm.
know you knew some people or right? Like maybe Daniel Blair.
I helped Daniel Blair kind of like organize some like writer or listener meetups. Like we took 80 listeners to Anaheim 1 in 2023. I will never do that again. I'm going to do something for the girlies, and we also did a suite in Arlington that had 35 people. Even that was chaos. So it was kind of like I was a big fan of Daniel and Main Event Moto and the podcast world. But other than that, yeah, no.
I think that is really impressive because you stepped outside of your comfort zone and you put yourself out there for
Mhm.
people to judge because you know social media is all about judging, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mean.
and what you've built in a year and the relationships you've built, I know your background in like what is it, PR stuff, marketing,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Obviously guided you through that aspect, but and you were more of a maybe like a fan page per se,
Yeah,
and then
totally.
you started actually building relationships, hence, when Roxanne won in Salt Lake.
Mhm.
But I'm impressed by that because at first I was like, "Oh, okay, like this is cool." Like, "Oh, I like her memes," or
Mhm.
it's a fun, uplifting, like, obviously, we can't do stuff like that because we're too connected, right? We have boundary that's set because of what husbands do in the sport. And so I loved it because you can cross that boundary that we can't.
I do tend to cross that boundary a
I
few
mean,
times.
we can't really have opinions publicly. I mean, you know what I mean,
Mhm. Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah.
So for me, it was always fun because I'm like, "Oh, okay, like somebody's saying what we're thinking," or I don't
Yeah.
know. So I just wanted to applaud you for
Thank
what
you.
you're bringing to the sport. You've always been supportive of us and help us grow, um,
Mhm.
platform. You are busy working at it way more than we are because we don't have the editing, abilities like you do.
Oh gosh, no,
Just
trust me, I don't
saying we're
either.
gonna learn so that we can pump out more content, but it's hard working, as you know, full time. We both work time, me and Hannah. She has younger kids than me. They're still high school, junior high, they're in sports. So it's hard. But I am gonna learn so I can start doing because I go to a lot of races that Hannah doesn't because of work,
Mhm.
Alpine Star Metagrid. Obviously planning, we plan races to meet up with our daughter because she lives in New York City. So, or if there's fun like Nashville. So
Mhm.
I go to a lot. I could get a lot of content,
Yeah.
but I just, I don't know how to really do all the fun things.
I
So I
mean,
need,
the editing is the worst part of it, but I don't know if you struggle with this like I do, but like Nashville, I really felt it. I just like I struggle with like being in the moment and recording because at the end of the day, like I am just a fan and like seeing you guys at the whole shot challenge, like I was up there like with the VIPs because my girl Brittany, like I'm not thinking to like have my phone out. Like I'm still just like soaking it all up in awe of all of it. So like having a camera out or like doing the like professional vlogging thing feels so weird to me because I'm here because I love the sport. So I want to be here to watch
you
the
want to
dirt
be in the
bikes.
moment.
Yeah. So I
I
struggle
thought,
with like recording.
I agree. I thought we were going to get way more, stuff done for, in Nashville.
Mhm.
We didn't have our camera Johnny come, and poor Ryan had to be our cameraman.
He nailed it. He nailed it. Good job, Ryan.
Had all these ideas, but I also was having so much fun that I just wanted to be in the moment,
Mhm.
and there's lots of things that I'm like, "Oh, I could have done this," or even a day in the life in the medic rig. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
you can do in there because you can't show actual,
HIPAA.
but just to show, like, how the day goes, what we do, our meetings in the mornings with the trackside, medics, and I never do because I'm just too in it in the moment.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, it's hard. It's a hard balance for sure. Like, when we did our first fit checks in at Anaheim 1, it was so stressful because you're going all over the place to
Mhm.
find, the right time, the downtime part, to interview these wives or girlfriends, and the pits are crazy, obviously, Anaheim 1. It's hard to even walk through there, and you're going, "Okay, come," I got Hannah going, "Come to Red Bull KTM right now. We have Jill here. We have Court da 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 da, all these people. Okay, now we gotta
Mhm.
go this one. Now we gotta," and then I'm just like, freaking can't wait. I wanna get up to the
Mhm.
and watch, like, and have a beer. I just
Mhm.
drink.
Yep. Yep.
So it's hard because I never, I'm a fan too. And I just wanted to just be a fan, but
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to
It's
grow
definitely
the
it's a weird balance.
podcast, that's what you have to do. So
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I never it's funny, like, starting the podcast, like, I just thought it would be, like, Katie and I, like, shooting the shit, like, it was not in my, like, grand plan to, like, first of all, ever show my face on Real Housewives of Moto on Instagram, like, that I remember the day I decided I was gonna make content, like, as a talking head or whatever, and I was just like, "Okay, here we go." Yeah, because the internet is mean. I remember, like, there was an awful comment on, like, one of the first videos that Katie and I did, like, talking about Katie and I's bodies, and I just be like, "Okay, like, I've gotta be prepared for that." And honestly, I will say since I backed off on making vegan content in the beginning, like I don't get as much hate. It's definitely vegan fans. I'm not even gonna shy
that's
away
a
from that.
loyal fans.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, coming into like the content creator space, like it is very strange. And I mean, you know this better than anybody, like being on the other side of it, like even the vlogging culture, like we've heard changes are coming next year from Feld. Like, I just feel like Moto hasn't caught on to the influencer culture yet. Like F1 and MotoGP, like it's exploding. And so I'm really hopeful that people like you and Hannah and like me are going to be able to like get into some of those spaces, not like actual spaces because we're there. Hello.
Yeah.
But be in front of more women because I mean, I wrote a whole piece about this. I recorded it for an old pod. Like we are the target demo. We are the decision makers. We are the budgeters, the amateur moto moms. We are the ones that are figuring out where we're going to race and where we're going to spend money. So it's like, why the hell are you not marketing to us? Like, and
No, I agree.
we're basically giving you free PR for the sport. So I have high hopes that that will change. But you know, we're looking at next year. Things are looking touch and go for media, but I don't think it's going to affect the podcast world. But
Think so from what I've heard. I'm going to be reaching out this week to Feld, to some people I know just to clarify what the new rules are to be approved. You know, I don't want to step on any toes. I want to go. I am a rule follower despite what people think. Crazy. But yeah, I think that we're going to be fine. I think they just have to set boundaries,
mm-hmm.
you know, accordingly. And so, but I did want to touch, I feel like I'm interviewing you too.
No,
I
you're
did
good.
want to touch back on you about you saying you put yourself out there the first time
Mm-hmm.
in the comments. I've always, because I'm a yapper, um, I I thought about that too, like doing like just talking to the screen to to people that follow in her lane or when I'm at a race, and but it's really hard to put yourself out there like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't say don't look at the comments because our jobs as content creators with podcasts, you want to respond to every comment because that's how you
Mm-hmm.
engagement and the relationship between people that are following you. So you don't have a choice. I will have to say, luckily, I've never had to deal with maybe one or two people saying we talk over our some of the interviewees, and I have listened. I didn't listen at first to my own pods because I'm like, I can't stand the way I sound.
I'm the same way. I hate
But
my voice.
But I'm glad because somebody in the comments mentioned that, and then I went back to listen and I'm like, I do. It's really hard when you know these women personally because you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're just yapping at a table, you
Mm-hmm.
like having lunch. So you're getting you don't real you have I have to check ourselves to go, we're actually filming content. It's not at lunch. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Shooting shit.
Yeah.
So I really have been aware of that for future pods to be
Mhm.
more. I appreciated that. You know what I mean? But it's so hard because you want to talk because we have real relationships with these women.
Mhm.
It's like we have so much history. Like, oh yeah, remember that? That? Especially with Ellie, dude. It was like
My gosh, I loved it.
I told Hannah, I was like, we really got to get better at letting people finish their sentences. This is pretty bad, but it's just so natural feeling with them. You
Mhm.
don't realize for a moment you're filming a pod.
Yeah. But that's what makes it great. Like there's so many male, I call it moto bro pods where like they just it's like they're just homies like in the basement shooting the shit, and it's like, okay, cool, like how many different ways can you dissect a race? Like when I listen to y'all's content or the content that I produce, it's like, okay, these are women that love it and love it just inherently, like we're not putting on a front, we're not having to like teach ourselves things, like the energy and the enthusiasm is real. It doesn't feel like it's put on. And so I think that's just like so special. And I feel that way in y'all's interviews. It's funny you said that about Ellie's because that's how I felt about Ellie's, is that I was like just like a girlfriend like getting drinks. I was like, wait, no, it's over. What? Look, I want to keep hanging out.
Thank you. Yeah, it's Yeah, it's fun and we care. I
Yeah,
think that's why, 'cause
it's
we
obvious.
really care. We're
Mhm.
not doing it for the clicks or the likes. I mean, obviously, we don't push super hard at it. We don't work. I mean, I always think, gosh, if I, like I said, if I could edit and I really could get stuff out there, I think we really could grow. But it's really just a fun hobby for us that, and the relationships, look at us.
Mhm.
And I've gotten to know a lot of the women in the sport better because I stepped away for a long time when Nathan was done, and, he wasn't involved in the pro side of it, so I would just go to races. Well, I was working in the medic rig though too, but I didn't really know them unless they came in as their spouse or boyfriend was a patient in the
Mm.
rig,
Not
and then you're
optimum
talking
time.
and they're in a vulnerable spot, they don't know who I am, I'm not gonna shoot the shit, but for me, it was cool because this generation now, I'm getting to see how they deal with it with social media, which I did around, God bless. And, um, yeah. And so I love that I'm getting to know even like somebody like Brittany Millsaps, who I didn't really know that well, even when Nathan raced, we were kind of on the tail end, they were in the middle. And now, you start, we're chatting all the time online and we see each other at the race. And it's just like instead of being a stranger, you feel like you've been friends forever. I love that aspect of what we're doing because now I'm getting to know all generations of
Mhm.
the sport, the women
Yeah.
behind so it's fun.
I feel that feel very similar. And I have to pinch myself like again because I'm like I was a nobody and like I've really felt it at Salt Lake where I was just like ping ponging around the paddock and like got to hang out with you and got to hang out with Amber and got to like it was just like these are my friends. Like it's so strange to like have people in the industry that like I have become friends with purely because well, I like to say purely because I was nice, which is hilarious because I'm like not a nice person like when
Yes,
it comes to like my job. Like, like I'm pretty cutthroat when I need to be, but like in moto, like I've been like I said, just such a fangirl that um I don't know. I think that these women are so used to having like cameras shoved down like their husband's throat and like always having to be on camera and always having to, whatever, do press that like when
or they're
somebody comes to
you're
them.
off to the side.
Right, right. And so when someone who also is a mom, comes up and I'm just like, how do you sleep? Like, how do you have a newborn? How do you do this? Like Ellie was really like the first one that I like fell in love with from a mom perspective because I was like, she was coming to the races with three of them at the end, like the double stroller and Pace strapped to her. And so I like to think that like being a mom actually like helped me in this last year because I was just like, I'm just in awe of you guys and like how you do this. And I love watching the younger generation. I love the Maddies that are like having their first kids and Riley's pregnant with a second. And just like navigating that in the throes of their husband doing this sport that is so freaking gnarly. It's just it's the coolest. So I hope that especially my friends, like I said, the non-moto friends that follow Real Housewives, and they're like, Allie, I feel like you're speaking another language, but they're like, I like it. I like the women. I think the women that you talk about are cool, and so it's a really cool time in moto, and I really attribute a lot of it to like what we're doing because we're bringing in the girlies. It's the
We are.
best.
I love it.
So let's find out a little bit more about you. Let's not talk about Nate yet. Okay, so where are you born? Where you grow up? Where does moto come in? So let's start there.
Uh, it's really not that, interesting of a story. Well, I grew up in Killeen well, I was born in Killeen, Texas,
Okay, I know Colleen. Yeah.
y'all. My dad
Mhm.
was in the Army.
Mhm.
Um,
Fort
for
Hood.
I was, only there till I was 2, and then they moved to Riverside. So I was raised in Riverside? I always say those the IE.
Mhm.
So I grew up in Riverside. No moto in our family background at all.
Interesting, okay.
Didn't know anything about it. Um, my brother was 5 years younger, was in baseball and basketball. My dad didn't. So I'm not one of the few like Hannah who grew up in it. Her brother, Ray, she was an amateur sister growing up the track. I had nothing. Did
Mhm.
not expose, didn't know. I might have heard of Damon Bradshaw one time from my dad. I don't know if he went to a race. I don't know, but I didn't know anything. So I grew up in Riverside, went to high school. I was a cheerleader. I danced like my daughter. Then I moved out when I was 18, and a girlfriend of mine that I had been friends with in junior high, she moved to Big Bear, which is our mountains in California. She moved back down, and we lived in the same apartment complex. And we kind of reconnected. I was dating somebody for 5 years, my high school sweetheart. I was supposed to move to Oregon, get married. I was going to Oregon, going to go to Oregon State. And I know I think back and think my life would have been so. I wish like there was something where you could see if you took this path, this is what your life would have looked like.
Mhm.
Just for
Mhm.
fun. I would never
Mhm.
change. But anyway, I remember the summer before we were supposed to move, I was just getting nervous and I'm like, I can't do this. I'm like
Mm.
really young. Um, Oregon just wasn't my vibe. I'm such a Cali girl. And I said, you know what? You go without me. I'm going to stay back this summer. We get a beach house every year. And let's see if we miss each other. Because if we do, then I'll come.
Mhm.
Which was really hard for me because he was so much like Nathan, the best guy. I can't
Aw.
say anything bad about him. It's just, it was
One
just
right.
time we were too young. We had too much life to experience. And he's doing great. We're friends on social media. But anyways, great guy. I mean, I would have scored either way. So I just was like, I n- I've never gone out. I
Mhm.
clubs. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing a disservice to our relationship. So he left. It was super heartbreaking. And yeah, I didn't really miss him. Wild summer.
It was like, I needed that.
I was like, this my girlfriend took me to a club and we used to go to Club Metro for all my IE people. They know what I'm talking about.
Holla.
And I was like, okay, this is what this is about,
Mhm.
right? This is life. So that's that. But why I'm saying that is because this girlfriend of mine was dating Jeremy Albrecht, which at the time just started wrenching for Jeff Emig. And she's knew I was single and she was like, hey, you should come and hang out with me and my boyfriend and his friends. They're so much fun. She told me what he did. I'm like, that's cool. It took me a couple months. And then
Mhm.
she was like, so back in the 90s, all the guys used to have card games every Wednesday night. It was poker night.
I
Um,
love that. That's so cute.
and so Grand Terrace area was a big Richie Canyon. You hear about everybody used to ride back then. Moto is so different in the 90s as you always hear. It wasn't corporate really. There's no social media, no phone, cell phones, nothing, right? Just Polaroid and our digital cameras, which are
Mhm.
bad. So anyway, I end up taking her up on this offer and she's like, come over on Wednesday night. We're hosting a card game. So I'm like, okay. So I show up there by myself and I walk in and two girls come up to me right away and they're like, you're Monica here. Have a shot. And one of them is my best friend to this day, Rachel, too. So I'm literally, I don't know why. I just said, I'm going to show up there. Because I didn't know that industry. They were just regular folks to me. I don't know who
Yeah.
they were. I'm coming to a house party. Show up. I was like, oh, cool. At least I'm welcome. We do shots. I start meeting everybody. Um, Jeff was there, Emick, and he was dating Lonnie at the time. So she's got her spiky hair. She's looking all crazy. Um, and then there was like people that were in the industry. I don't think there was like any other writers there. There might have been. I just didn't know them. But anyway, ended up like so fun, really connecting with the females. It
Mhm.
was no like connection with male. It was more like, okay, I'm like in a new stage in my life. I need to get out.
Mhm.
Like everyone's going to college. I was going to a JC locally. And so then it just evolved into me becoming really good friends with my girlfriends. Obviously, you know, little hookups now and then. And then,
Cool.
yeah, I'm not going to say who the first hookup
Okay.
was with,
You ain't gotta
but
kiss and tell.
But then I ended up, dating Phil Lawrence, who used to race back in the day.
Mhm.
Um, that was my first real introduction into the motocross industry. So anyways, I guess I went to my first Anaheim with my girlfriend and the girls that I got to know, and of course, I was kinda liking on somebody. I don't even think I watched the race. Time. And that was back in the day when you literally the guys, which because my friend Rachel at the time dated Dana Wiggins, who worked for Cowie. He was a mechanic and all that stuff. They could just show up and race Anaheim.
That's so
So,
wild.
like all these people in vans would be in the pits, and then you would hope they would make it, and then they would make it to the night. It's just, it's so different. And the evolution of it from the 90s to now is crazy. Like literally, we just camp out of the back of the van, have some drinks. And for me, it was party. I didn't care. I didn't know who was racing. I didn't care. I
Did
was
not
there
care.
for a good time. You know,
Mhm.
I was so sheltered from being in a 5 year since my end of my freshman year in high school. So
Mhm.
that was my introduction into it. And then everybody thinks, like I had it in my life. I didn't. I guess at 19, that's pretty young. But so anyways, fast forward, I date Phil, and it was a wild ride because he was really good friends with like Emmett. He knew McGrath. We would go to the river. All the stories you hear, 100% spot on.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. Crazy parties. We would party after races. I don't know what race it was we were at. It was out of California, but it's like they would have these after parties and the riders would go. Like
Yeah.
we all went and be struggling on a flight the next day.
I love it.
There was Club Rubber in Orange County. They would host weekend things. Dana Nicholson, I think, came up with it. Would promote it, and they had pimp and hoe parties.
My
Um,
gosh.
Multiple pimp and hoes every year. We dressed in the sluttiest shit. I mean, who does that?
You need to bring
We
it
have
back. That's who.
great photos. It was just a lot of like fellowship together. It didn't
Mhm.
matter when we were at these like parties and at the clubs. Nobody was like, oh, I don't like this person because he beat me last weekend or this.
Mhm.
Everyone's just having a great time.
Mhm.
And then Vegas Supercrosses used to be, I mean, we all talk about them still.
I've heard stories. They're
I mean,
iconic.
I don't know how my liver or my body handled it because now I'm in bed early, but it was like you got there on Thursday. We had the golf tournament. Um, I think Road to Recovery had it back then too. They had just started. We had golf tournaments. Every racer would be at the golf tournament. I was on the cart. Me and some of the wives like would get on the cart. We had beer bongs. We would stop. They'd have to beer bong. I
My
mean,
gosh.
party, go out that night. The race is the next day. We'd all be at the Hard Rock Casino laying out the wives, um, buckets of beer, partying, get ready, go to the race at Sam Boyd and do that, leave, get dressed, and go out at 11:30 midnight to the Round Bar at Hard Rock. The Round Bar, it was like a fan's dream because anybody at any time during that weekend, if you went to the Round Bar, you're gonna know somebody.
I
Everybody,
love it.
right? It is like the ultimate. And then it was like somebody had parties, and then when Carrie Hart started dating Pink, I call her Alicia, but Pink, he had his club there. I mean, we were treated awesome, VIP. Then the next day would be Sunday. It'd be rehab, is what they called it at Hard Rock. So
Rehab.
everybody would come, the racers, because it's like the season's done.
Mhm.
Rehab, I don't know if you've heard of Rehab. It's a Sunday event pool party at the Hard Rock, basically.
Love it.
Yeah. Then we had the banquet that night at the Hard Rock. So it was like non-stop partying, okay? From Thursday to Monday,
No, I hurt thinking about it.
okay? And I really wish they brought back banquets
Mhm.
because everybody in the industry, we talk about it. It was a time that we got to dress up, all be together in one room. I'm talking all the corporate people,
Mhm.
at Feld, you have AMA, everybody, mechanics, team owners, managers. And it was just a way we did they had awards. I mean, it was very respected event.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was huge. And then they'd always have a band or a DJ, and everybody would be just dancing and partying as one. And I
Mhm.
so bummed when they took that away. I think Nashville should be the last race
Mm.
season,
Yep.
and they should do some type of banquet or event. And then maybe and fans used to be able to purchase tickets to it. They would be up on top, I think, for
I
towards the
love it.
having
Yeah.
it.
Watching.
I don't know. I think we need to bring it back, girl. We need to bring the
We
banquets
should
back.
do it. We should
So
plan
anyway,
it.
that's my pre-Nathan. And then I ended up getting out of the relationship with Phil. He just we weren't aligned in things that we wanted. And I said, I will never date a professional athlete ever.
Joke's on you.
Ever. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but all my friends were wrapped up in that world because I
Mhm.
became really good friends with the wives, girlfriends, whatever. And it's kind of like being in high school where you're still going to run into the same people, right? Your friend groups are maybe there's two, but they become one for some type of like birthday party or something like
Mhm.
that. So I still kept my friends. I was still around, and everyone really supported um, me, ending that relationship. They knew. He was just I said it before, he was a typical 20 something year old racer put into a rock star world,
Mhm.
in, like 23, 24. Of
Yeah.
course, he's not caring about they weren't caring about having a girlfriend or how they treated them. They're just like living in the moment. It was like blowing up in front of them. So I
Mhm.
didn't hold anything ill will or anything, but it just wasn't right for me. So then Nathan at that same time had just moved from Tennessee to Marietta because he had just signed with Mitch Payton Pro Circuit. And so he moved into um Jeremy McGrath's mechanic Skip owned a home in Marietta, and he rented it out and it was 4 bedrooms. So Nathan moved in there with his mechanic Bundy. Kenny G was another mechanic, and Lamont. All my 90s folks will know who I'm talking about.
Shout out.
Uh-huh, and so I was really good friends with Lamont. We used to call him La Rizzo. And so, anyway, I had a rough time dealing with the breakup because it was his world that I was in, right? And so, I would talk to Lamont, and I always was a guy's girl. Like I had a lot of guy friends. So I remember, I don't know, it was like a couple months. Ryan and Jen Hughes were married. She was pregnant with Evander. They were having a co-ed baby shower. And co-ed baby showers weren't really a thing back then, but they had this beautiful home in Temecula. So we all go, with my girlfriends, and Nathan was there and he had just moved. And it's funny, we have pictures together when we weren't together and I was with Phil. So like I had met him obviously because I was going to the races for about a year and a half.
Mhm.
I remember the first time I saw him to this day. I was at Anaheim. I think it was in the pits. I'd never been introduced to him. I crossed him in the pits and I remember he smiled at me and he had a wife beater on. He had like gauge earrings and he just looked so cute. And I just remember going, that guy's
Mm.
cute. And that was it.
Mm.
And so fast forward now, and I just remember, like, seeing him at the baby shower because Rhino, raced Kawasaki's, and Nathan was starting with Cowie, so they would go to the test track, and they became friends, and, whatever. And I remember leaving that baby shower when I had a Toyota Camry, and I was on the overpass, and my window fell through my door. It
The
wouldn't
heck?
roll, and Nathan was with Sean Palmer. I don't know if you know Sean Palmer, he
Mhm.
was a professional snowboarder. They were driving together to leave, and I, like, pull up next to him, I'm like, "Can you help me with my wind?" So we pull over, he helps me, and I'm just like, "This guy is so sweet. He's not like
Aw.
a typical California racer, He's from the
Mhm.
South."
Mhm.
So we'd be around each other, and then I finally was like something was just, like, pulling me to go, like, I don't know, I kinda wanna, like, go on a date, just see what he's about. I love love, I always had boyfriends and stuff like that. So I remember telling Lamont, Rizzo, "Hey, I really like Nathan. Like I think he's cute." And he's like, "Okay, okay." So I think 2 days later I called the house. So remember, we don't have cell phones. We're calling landlines.
Oh, yes.
So I call the phone and Nathan answers
Heck
and
yeah.
he's like, "Hey." And I'm like, how are you? I'm just calling from Lamont." He's like, "Yeah, 1 second." Doesn't say anything. This happens like a few times.
You
So I'm like,
didn't wanna
"Okay."
talk to me?
Yeah, I thought, because Lamont's like, "I got you," whatever. So then I go to dinner at Jen and Ryan's one night, and we're sitting around, and I tell them, like, "You know who I think is, like, cute?" And Rhino's like, "I got you, girl. Don't worry about it." He's like, "I'm gonna see him at the track." So the next day, he pulls up to the track. They both pull up together, and they're getting changed, and he's like, "Hey." He's like, "Guess who, like, you know, likes you or, like, wants to get to know you?" He's like, "Monica Dufour. My maiden name's Dufour, French." And he's like, "Uh-uh. Are you serious? Are you serious? There's no what?" He's like, are her and Phil like done? And he's like, oh yeah, they've been broken up, and he's like, hmm. So then he comes home, he tells me this story and he tells Lamont, dude, guess what? And Lamont goes, oh yeah, I've known for a couple weeks. And he's like, what? And he goes, well, I wanted a chance. And Nathan's
My
like,
gosh.
I know. I am like, I never thought
Men
of
are
him
such
that way,
stinkers.
right? So I didn't know that. And the next time I called, Nathan answered. Then he started talking to me on the phone and he's like,
There
hey,
we go.
we're gonna go play basketball at the local park. Do you want to come? And I'm like, sure. And so I went, watched them, and then he asked me on a date, and then we pretty much, I made him work for it. I was still dealing with, getting over the past relationship. I will say everybody in the industry really supported our relationship. They thought we were meant to be together. We both loved to
Aw.
rap, we loved to dance. We just complimented each other. And Nathan, I mean, he's the nicest guy. Like somebody said it the other day. I don't know what race I was at. They're like, if you don't like Nathan, then something's wrong with you because he the most amazing person ever. And so, yeah, I made him work for it in the beginning, and he fell first. He told me he loved me first. He's gonna kill me for this. And I was just like,
Adorable.
"Oh."
That's
But
exactly what I did too.
I just wanted to be true to him and myself, and thank God he didn't. He gave me another chance because I kind of burned him a couple times.
Ooh.
And he finally was like, Nathan's the type, like, once he's done and he is like, gets in that mean mode, which he's not, then you're like, oh, fuck, he's serious.
Mhm. Mhm.
I actually don't want to lose you. So, anyways, after that, it was like hardcore in, we got engaged in less than a year from the time we met. And then a year later, we got married. So we were together 2 years and we got married in 99. The year he won his very first Supercross. He went on a winning streak, won his championship. We bought a house
It was
and
you.
I got pregnant all in the 99.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot of life change.
So yeah, so that was kind of a long version of how my story and like, my introduction into the sport. And I've made so many amazing friends since then. So, and obviously met my soulmate. So, I love Moto for all those reasons.
That's
So
so freaking cool. We were talking before we recorded that we're gonna have to do a part 2, which I knew we were because we've got about 15 minutes left, and I have so many questions now. So we'll do a part 2. But I have questions up to this point. So like when you first come into this moto world, I like you was not raised in moto, even though I was in Tallahassee. My family knew the Carmichael, so I knew what it was, which is so
yeah,
funny when I tell people that. They were like, "You live down the street from Carmichael and you had no idea how good he
crazy.
was."
I say that. Yeah.
Isn't that so funny? I'm kind of embarrassed of it. Like I was like, "No, I had like no clue." Like Tallahassee's so small. Which ask anybody on Star right now, they're like, "Yeah, we know." Um, but coming into moto, I remember being like, I love this. This is so cool, but like, holy shit. Like the list of injuries. I mean, just like my husband was star flighted from a track before we started dating. Like I was like, what is this? So like, do you remember like what you were feeling about moto and about like being, a partner of someone that lives this life? Like, was it exciting and exhilarating or was it like terrifying and like, I don't know what I'm getting into?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, you don't really think about that when it happens. I'm trying to think what injury Nathan first had when we were together. The only one that really, because he didn't get injured in 99 or 98, I don't think. Um, but in 99, he was going to defend his Supercross championship West Coast for a pro circuit. And he was like the stuff I heard at the track, like he's fucking sorry, I cuss
You're good.
sometimes.
You're good. It's a safe
I'm an
space.
ER nurse, so we got a potty mouth. He's flying. He's like the fastest guy. He's gonna win this championship again, right? I mean, all so the week before Anaheim, I think it was like 4 days after Christmas. I think I just found out I found out I was pregnant with Tatum like the day after Christmas. I think it was a couple days after that, his mechanic calls me and he was out practicing, testing. He's like, "Hey," he's like, and when the mechanic calls, your stomach drops, right?
Yeah. It's bad.
Know where they are and why are they calling me?
Yeah.
So that's the first indication.
Mm.
"Hey, I'm driving Nathan home, he has a concussion for sure, and we think he broke his hand." And I'm like, "What? Like, he's supposed to be defending his championship. Wait, this is not in the plans." And so that was the first time I ever dealt with somebody with a concussion.
Mm,
Um, he came home. I remember sitting in the garage of our new house, and he's just like repeating everything. Like, what?
gosh.
Wait, what happened again? Like really bad. And then he got like these dog tags for Christmas,
My gosh.
and he was like, "What are these? What? Where did they come from?" And I'm like, "You got it." And I just kept, I was like,
Shit.
"Oh my gosh!" Right. So that was my first experience with concussions. Like
Mhm.
I'd never been around somebody, and it was so scary. And I'm like, "Do you know who I am? Did you know we got married like a couple months ago? We were pregnant."
Oh my
You
gosh.
know? And it was really, really scary. And so that set the tone. He had quite a bit of concussions throughout his career, and then we had to fly and get he had broke his navicular, which then he couldn't defend his title. He had to go to East Coast, and, he didn't do that well because he was riding with this contraption on his hand.
Mm,
It was awful.
yeah.
Anyway, so, like, the injuries, that was my first bit of it. One of the scariest ones was Glen Helen, and, I think I was pregnant too. It's like a theme.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've ever seen Glen Helen or you watch old videos, but there's this really big hill, Mount St.
Mhm.
Helen or something.
Mhm.
He just cartwheeled, boom, 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 knocked out cold for like
No.
minutes. And it's
Oof.
really hard to see that far away. I was on the ground and yeah, those ones are scary. He broke both his wrists at Chad Reed's track in Florida.
Mm,
That was rough. You just kind of go into what do you need to do?
yeah.
Like, and obviously that's kind of what gave me behind the scenes to wanting to be a nurse. You know,
Interesting.
learning the body, all these injuries, how does it recover? And at that injury, I was doing everything for him, like wiping his ass.
Mhm.
Literally had a child, both wrists completely done,
Oh my
surgery.
gosh. I cannot.
And I have to tell you that story because that's a really interesting story on his flight back with two
Oh my
broken
gosh.
ribs.
Yeah.
Um, we had to fly him back. Yeah. Anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna get paid for this. I'm gonna be a nurse. So yeah, I don't even know if I answered your question about the injury, but yeah, I mean, it's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And you just have to have a really good village, especially for the wives that have kids.
Mhm.
My mom and dad were just a blessing during that time. I mean, I remember I was 8 months pregnant with Tyson, another pregnancy injury. He broke his femur.
Oh,
I got a call from his trainer. I knew I was shopping with Tatum, I remember, and yeah, I'm just like, this is nuts." And I called my mom and dad. I'm like, "I need you to take care of Tatum. I gotta go to the hospital," and they just show up. Um, and then Ellie and Chad lived next door to us for quite a few years, and anything would happen, she'd watch my kids, like, in the drop of a heartbeat. So, you have to have really good people around you, especially when you have children,
mhm.
you know? It's happened where we've been at a race, I had the kids with me, and, I mean, I had them in the ER in Seattle, one of the gnarliest trauma centers, just for hours, and and all you care about is, "Are we gonna make our flight in the morning?" Like,
Gosh.
that's all I kept saying to the hospital to the nurses, "We gotta sew this up, like, we got a flight to catch. We only got
Mhm.
2 hours to get to the airport."
Oh,
Like, so, you're never prepared, but you just go into nurse mode, even
yeah.
for the people who aren't nurses, you just handle business.
So you took all of those not traumatic at all events and decided, "Yeah, I wanna do this as a career on top of it?" That's what
Yeah.
spurred you towards
I
nursing?
always I always used to watch, like, Life in the ER, like, I just liked I don't know, I love crime stories, I'm weird, I just like stuff like that, and we have, like, a saying in the ER world, trauma world, like, we d we don't want you to have an injury or trauma, but when you do, we wanna be the ones there to help you,
Mhm. I
you
love
know?
that. Yeah.
So, I don't know, I've always just, like my dad injured himself on the job really bad. He shattered his heel and his ankle and was months of recovery. And I remember him being in the hospital, and I remember visiting him. He was in the hospital for quite a few days, and you'd have nurses that were just bitches, like, don't they weren't helpful, they'd never show up, and then you had some that you'll never forget. And I remember telling my parents, like, I could be a light in somebody's stay and maybe make a difference. I love people. I love stories. I love to hear their story. I think I could be a really good nurse. Like, I'm not like the smartest, but I can learn. And um, so I had that in the back of my mind that I wanted to go back to school when Nathan, well, it wasn't when he was done racing. It was more so when my youngest was in school full time. I was in college when Nathan met me. I was going to school to be a teacher. I had less than a year left. And then I took a semester off because we got married in September. Shocker, right? End of the season.
Everybody does.
Um, and so the semester was already starting. So I took that semester off in fall because we were going on our honeymoon. We had bought a house we were moving into, and I'm just like, I'm going to take a break. Well, then I got pregnant for after we got
Go
married, and
figure.
fortunately, I didn't have to work. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. And I kick myself for, you know, not just getting the degree just to finish it, just to have it in my back pocket. But I always knew because I am a worker. I've worked since I was 16, maybe 15 actually before I drove. Um, I just I always wanna make a difference, and I want my own thing. It's hard when you date a professional athlete or you're married to them because it's a selfish world.
Mhm.
You have to be selfish to a point in order to be successful, right? So, um, I just knew I wanted to contribute to our family when he was done because you're not gonna make that money, forever, and we can talk about the transition later because that's really hard when these checks coming in and sponsorship checks, and then one day they stop. Right.
Gosh.
So, I knew I wanted to do something. I always did. Even if we had millions of dollars, I was going back. I wanted my
Mhm.
own. So I did, and I decided to do nursing. I realized after having kids, I cannot be a school teacher for little.
No.
Yeah, I don't. God bless the teachers of this world.
Bless them.
Put them 5 days a week in a classroom teaching our future. I don't have the patience for
No,
it.
me neither.
So, um, it was a really scary time to say, put myself out there. I'm going back to school. I had to go back and take my prereqs like one a semester because my kids were very active in sports. No, our son does not race, rides, and we get that all the time. Like, why didn't you put your son in? Because we didn't want that life for him. If he would have begged us and that was all he thought about, that would be completely different.
Mhm.
Nathan already said from a young age, I don't want him to race. There's too many other things he could do. What?
So I'm putting that on my list for part 2.
Um, you know, we it not only is it dangerous, but there's a lot of sports. He played football. That's just as dangerous. The money and the commitment from the entire family. And
Mhm.
we weren't willing to make our daughter have to commit to something like that because she needed her own thing to do.
Mhm.
And I think it works for some people, especially, I guess, if you have 2 genders and maybe they both do it, but for our family, it wasn't something that fit in, our daughter started dancing. She was a performer from the beginning, and I didn't want our families separated. I mean, they're already separated enough now, like, it's just it wasn't something that was us. I mean, yeah, did we get him a dirt bike at 3? I remember on his birth on Chr no, Christmas we did, and Chad and Ellie came over that morning, and everybody was so excited for Tyson to get this KTM and had training wheels.
My
That
gosh.
boy was so embarrassed. He barely wanted to get on his bike.
Oh.
We had him ride, and then he got a little older, and we did have a birthday party at a track, and he raced a race and got the little fever, but he loved his other sports,
Mhm.
baseball and basketball, and we were, like, fine with it. But another thing is when Nathan started getting more involved in the industry again, I couldn't take him. I had
Mm.
obligations, and Nathan
Yeah.
didn't trust anybody else to take Tyson riding except him. And
Okay.
when he came home on Sundays, the last thing he wanted to do was go to a track.
Yeah, I bet.
And when he did, in the beginnings, even when he still rode, he's like, "Well, I could take Tyson with me and, like, your dad to help," but then people wanna go up to him, and they
Mhm.
wanna ride again practice against him and say, "Oh, I was riding next to Nathan Ramsey." So, it's always these caveats that people don't think about of why we didn't go that path, you know,
Mhm.
for him like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so anyway, I just got off track there too.
This is literally what this is for. This is exactly what we're here for.
So yeah, so I don't even know what we're talking. Oh, going back to school and all the things. Yeah. So yeah, I went back to school and then eventually got into the nursing program. It took me a while. It's very competitive. It's even more so now than ever. And I got in with a girl that I was friends with. By chance, we both got in, and she was a mom, a brand new baby. So we were supporting each other. My parents,
Gnarly.
they took the kids to practices, did my laundry, went to the grocery store. Nathan was helping when he could. He wasn't in the pro scene. I think he had just started with like KTM Orange Brigade, doing that, managing that. But yeah, I did it. I don't know. I missed a lot of things. And it was cool because I wanted my kids to see me studying. They were in school, they were elementary. I think Tatum was starting junior high, and we would all sit at the table. And I was like, maybe if this can influence them later on, that their mom, you're never too old to be what you might have been.
Mhm.
You have multiple careers. And if I truly believe whatever you want to do, you can do it. If
Mhm.
you put the work in, and you have to put the work in and you have to, that it's not going to be easy. You can do whatever you want, whatever. Like I know now, once I became a nurse, I was like, shit, I could have been a doctor. I could have done this. Like, I just didn't have a lot of confidence in that. I had ADD growing up, undiagnosed.
Mm.
Uh,
Solidarity.
I wasn't like that great elementary, junior high school. My parents didn't really hold me accountable. So I learned through starting college, and I graduated at 17 and finished my first semester of college at 17. I was really young. Um, I wanted it for myself. So once it was me, and then it's true when somebody tells you you're smart and teachers give you good feedback, it really messes with your brain. And you start to believe that
Mhm.
I can. Words of affirmation are huge.
Mhm.
And with your children. So I started believing I could do it. And once I believed I could, then I was like, all right, let's get this going. And, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life besides raising children is nursing school. It's like boot camp. I mean, I doubted myself. I didn't know how to study. You have ADD and then it's a different kind of study. It's
Mhm.
like, remember this. And then you take your ABCD test, right?
It's a human.
Answer's right. What's the best one for this situation we just gave
Mm.
you?
Mhm.
So anyway, there was times that I doubted, and then I did it, and then I passed my boards, which I thought, "Oh, I'm probably not gonna pass it the first time." I passed it, and yeah, the rest is
Hell
history.
yeah.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I think that a lot of women have similar stories in that where their husband is in a career, whether it's, they're an athlete or, the husband is just a provider and like you're just kind of along for the ride, have kids early. I think, my friends even the same way. And I think what I love that you said is like, you did this for you. Like you wanted to have that for you. It wasn't like I have to do this or, whatever. And so you're the one motivating yourself. Like nobody else is forcing that on you. I just think that's so cool. And there's an interesting spectrum of current like moto wives. Like there are some that have careers outside of moto, there are some that do not, and more power to them either direction. But having to do that, knowing like what your weekends looked like, what Nate's weekends looked like, what a paycheck each weekend looked like, I mean, that's a lot to juggle, on top of like what you're studying for, like we just said, is like working on the human body, so it's not like you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go, fix cars. No, like I'm working on making sure people don't die. So that you carried a lot of weight, and especially in like those early childbearing years, like that that's a lot. Like pat on the back to you.
Yeah, thanks. I did wanna just say one more thing. I know we're gonna have to cut it off
Yeah,
because
no, you're
we
good.
haven't even touched the surface of a lot of things, but I guess for me, I always told Tatum, our daughter, I said, "I don't care what you do, I want you to get your degree, I want you to have a career that you could." And she's a performer, she's kinda like an athlete pretty much too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I just said, "I need you to be secure with your own self and not need a man to take care of you."
Mhm.
I saw a couple of friends that I grew up with, their dads leave their moms,
Mhm.
stay-at-home mom for 30 years, and now she's starting to work as a secretary
Yep. Yeah.
because she has to provide for herself.
Mhm.
So I was like, when that happened, I'm like, I've got to, for security, what if Nathan has a life-changing injury, right? Because we know paralysis is a big thing and
Mhm.
such. I need to have a job that provides insurance.
Gosh, yes.
because we paid out of the butt. Ask any moto chick, that's our complaint, right?
What are your insurance premiums?
The insurance, right? But I'm like, I need to be able to take care of me and my family if something happens. And I need that. So there was no plan B. It was a plan A. It really was a do or die. I had to tell myself that in order to push myself to the point that I'm going to finish this. I'm not going to, because as you know, with ADD, you start projects and you don't finish. I have a wall halfway done of wood because I didn't get it finished. And I know that for me, I had to basically give my own self pep talks to say, this is a future for your family. Like, you're going to contribute. You don't have an option. Failure is not an option. So I
Mhm.
don't care if you cry. I don't care if you get an F on a test. You're finishing this shit. You're doing it. And that's why I think is why I was able to complete it and be an RN now for like 12 years because I my kids motivated me because I wanted to be everything for them in case something happened. And that's my opinion on that. I think every wife, every woman needs to have their own thing because nothing's guaranteed. People cheat on, like, it's just the way life works. And I never wanted to be that one that's like, now what? Oh, I'm getting a little money. I got to go live in an apartment. I got to go back to my parents. Like, no,
Mhm.
straight to jail. Not happening for me. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. No.
Nope. So I just, that's the wisdom I tell, you know, wives or girlfriends. A lot of them can use social media now for their careers, which is a bonus, and Paige is killing it, you know?
Mhm.
Didn't have that, you know? There was
You
no
would have been
it
you would absolutely been a moto influencer, and you would
it's
have been so good at it.
I say that all the time, I'm like, it's a blessing and a curse that I didn't have it because I probably would have been talked about a lot. Um, and when you're in your 20s and 30s, you don't think about the things you say that are there forever in that
Mhm.
social media world on the internet.
Mhm.
You're young and dumb. I probably would have said some things or,
Mhm.
I'm glad, but I have fun thinking about what would have been,
Mhm.
and then having kids, being one of the first ones and the stories. It would have been fun, but maybe God knew yeah.
He knew. He knew the path.
And
Yeah.
now that I'm more mature, it's fun for me to do this aspect of it because I know so much more,
Yeah, you have so much wisdom to pass down. I see that in a few different circles. Like there's like almost like the mom of a rider and then like, you know, a trainer or whatever. Like there's multiple generations where you can see that like those people take care of each other because that woman understands what her husband went through. And I see that in you. And I think that's so cool that like you know, Moto has grown to this point where we have a second generation of wise people, you know? Like we're
A
like,
mentor. You have,
yeah, a
like, the
mentor.
guys, but I always, thought when Nathan took this role, I'm like, I want us to be not that we're a package deal, but we come as a team because everything we do is a team. And then, like, when RJ, when Ashley, I got to know her and her kids, I would help her at the races if I'd go and wasn't working. I'm like, "Come on, I got you." Or, you know what I mean? Like, I I feel like I have so much wisdom in that aspect of what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Learn
Oh,
from my
absolutely.
mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I hope if anything, one day, one of the wives currently say, maybe I helped them with something or made a difference, right?
I'm sure they're already saying that. We can get them. We got to just get them on record. We'll get them come stay here and then go over to In Her Lane, and it'll just be a giant love fest. I'm here for it because I love the idea of like moto mom, moto wife mentorship. You know, because it's such a niche experience too. You
Well,
know.
especially when I'm working in the medic rig, I'm I'm always like trying to be that emotional support for them, depending on the type of injury and like if they're getting taken via ambulance to the trauma center. I'm always like the first one out there at the ambulance, like, here's this paperwork. This is what you need to do. I need you to take a picture of this. You're not going to think about it now, but trust me.
Mhm.
I have had racers, wives, and girlfriends say when they see me at a race working, I'm so glad it's you working today. Uh,
Oh, I
it
love
makes me
that.
feel so much better that you're in there because not only am I a nurse, I think I'm a pretty good nurse, but I understand where they're coming from. And yeah, I mean, I have to get pretty stern at the truck of people trying to come into the rig, and I can be a bitch, but I only work off the energy given to me when you show up to the rig. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
name is Sarge for a reason.
I love
And
it.
So if I've been rude to an agent or a mechanic, it's not. I'm running a mini hospital, and you
Yeah.
don't open an ER door, right? There's
Mm-mm.
rules, there's policies in place to protect the people inside.
Mhm.
And people get emotional, and they're like, and we have a sign now, right outside the door. Dude, please knock. The nurse will be with you, or something like that.
Mhm.
And I'll be busy with 3 patients in there by myself, and you'll have people come in, and I'll straight up go, Did you read the sign on the door? Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, then you need to wait and knock."
Then go outside.
Situation, I don't know who you are. Now you're looking at the other racer in the bed behind them. You're gonna
Mhm.
go tell somebody. Like, there's reasons that I get aggressive.
Mhm.
Follow the rules, read the signs, and
Mhm.
it'll be great. And
Mhm.
you'll get me. But when I'm in work mode, nurse mode, like, no, not having it. I don't care if you're who you are. Stay out there. We'll let you in accordingly. We have a very small area, and trust me, like, you don't need to be exposed to radiation when we're taking x-rays. Like, there's all these, it's not just to be mean. It's not to be, you know, there's a reason. There's a rationale. And I said that to my kids always. I'm always going to tell you why I make a decision. My mom never did. It was because I said so.
Mhm.
There's always a reason of why you can't do this or why I said no.
Mhm.
And I put that with everything in my work aspect. Like, everything's evidence-based in healthcare, right? I'm always like, these rules aren't set just to piss people off. They're for a reason. And they're actually to protect your husband. What if a
Mhm.
media sticks his head in?
Mhm.
Or I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do get really I always say I have a black heart. I'm just really, like, on the surface strong, and being in the ER and working at a low income area. We're level 1 trauma, the only pediatric trauma center in Riverside County. I do compartmentalize things, and things don't affect you the same. But it really warms my heart when the wives are so sweet, and I've gotten to know so many in the privateer wives and everybody. And they even, like, high ups, like in AMA and stuff, and they just are like, "I'm so glad it's you working today." So I guess I'm doing something right. I just really truly have everyone's best interest at heart. That's what it is. And um, we can get into, like, the medic rig talk of it all too later, because
We're
I
going
can
to.
some not so good conversations I have, not HIPAA violations or anything, but yeah.
Yes, we
I
definitely
am.
don't want those.
I think a lot of the. I'll say this and we can end. A lot of people who do the nursing and get chosen, whether it's through somebody they know or they just kept constantly sending resumes, they're usually fans first,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
And they don't know the boundaries and the lines. But for me, I know. I've been around
Mhm.
for years, and I don't care who you are. I treat everybody the same. I'm not gonna let somebody's who's number 1, their 4 family members in, and a privateer comes and tell his wife no. Okay?
Mhm.
So that's where I've gotten even better at over the years. The rules apply to everybody the same.
Mhm.
And the people that are used to being bowed down to,
Mhm.
they don't like they don't like it.
Mhm.
Guess what? It's the better for everybody in the long run, and I'm
Mhm.
not gonna favor you because you get a better place than the guy that's busting his ass in 20th. And
Mhm.
that's my motto as working in that. I stand my ground, nobody has pull.
I
That's just
love that. I love that because in a lot of other
guess
areas in
what?
Moto,
I will do and go above and beyond for you if you treat me
Mhm.
with respect at my job, you
As a
know?
pro tip for any
Get more
wives
bees
listening.
with honey. That's what my boss always tells me. You get more bees with honey.
Mhm. That's
How
so
you
true. I
mhm.
believe it.
So,
Well, Monica, this has been so fun. I literally, I we, it's going to be like 3 hours total because we're going to do part two. I have so many questions. I have so many questions about your kids growing up while you were working, while Nate is transitioning out of racing, then being back at the races. We want to talk KTM. We want to talk Husky. We're gonna do all that.
I think for me, what I think as a wife in this industry, what will be interesting to them is when it stops.
Bingo.
The transition to the next part of your lives and the animosity you feel towards the industry and things
Mm,
and the way Nathan's ended. So stay tuned because
yes.
to me, you're not thinking about that right now while you're racing with your husband and you're living the life and you're going and and yeah, you go through contract season and we can talk about that and how your husband
Mhm.
but when all that stops, who is your who is your husband? Is he identifying only through the motocross racer, the supercross? Does he know who he is? Do
Mhm.
Does the relationship know who each other are? Do you need that to feed you? And what are you going to do financially? How are you going to live your life? And what's the next phase look like? So for me, I find that story to be the most interesting. It's
Mhm.
great. Now you have great racers and, Nathan was a late starter and all that's fun. The kids, it was hard, but the after part is the hardest part to that.
Mhm. I
The
am
win are great. You're only as good as your last race, but that afterlife part is the biggest thing you'll ever go through. So
yeah. I love that. So we're gonna spend the bulk of our next chat on that because I think that it's not a conversation that is being had, at least not publicly. And I think there are so many women in the pro ranks from the top of the top to the privateers that need to chew with, on that and chew on what life looks like afterwards. And
you
you
really
know,
gotta get things set up. I mean,
mhm,
you're always trying to get things set up financially, right? But if something happens in the blink of an eye, like an accident, and you're not prepared of what your life's gonna look like after, you're gonna go through some pretty dark times. And hopefully you're strong enough together
mhm,
through it. And I've seen tons of people divorce after, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So, I do think you are correct. I don't hear anything on podcasts about that. Yeah, they do the racers and then it's like, "Okay, now what do you do?" You really wanna know the nitty-gritty part of it.
yeah, yeah.
And then Nathan had and most don't know Nathan was a team manager for a pro team for JDR, an Australian team, and then that ended 2 months into the Supercross season after 2.5 years, and he had to go tell people they didn't have a job.
Oh, the worst.
So and there's anyway, that's a whole nother thing. We've had a lot of ups and downs. I can give an advice hotline left and right. But you know what kept us through it all was that we had such a good relationship and loved each other and God. We're Christians. Don't follow me for Christian advice. I
You're
am
here Jesus.
realist. I live my life with daily I love my drinks. I cuss like a sailor, but
Real,
I do
real.
God, and I believe if you have to have faith in a sport like this, or you will not get through anything.
Mhm. Yeah. I
That's
love that. I wanna hear more about that. I wanna hear more about, yeah, what your marriage needs to look like way ahead of retirement to make it on the other side and not completely despise your spouse or the sport. So, I'm so looking forward to it. Monica, you have a little bit more time while you're recovering, so hopefully we can get our schedules lined up because I am so excited to finish our conversation. I'm dealing with kiddos and pickup and all that, but thank you.
Four-part
Yeah.
series coming up. That's
No,
gonna be the
really.
new podcast, theme, right? We're gonna have parts to it.
Heck yeah. No, we're gonna have like Monica Corner. I'm telling you. Like this I'm like, I just wanna talk all the things and all the questions. So again, thank you so much for just like being just a girl's girl, a real, and just taking me under your wing as a stranger and not being like weirded out by my over enthusiastic energy and wanting to do this. And oh my gosh, like just you're a gem. So
Well,
looking forward to it.
thank you so much. I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to it too, and I'm sorry for those who don't wanna hear me yap, I'm a yapper. I'm a detailed person, and that's the ADD.
Mhm. Oh no,
AD
me too. No.
ADD now, they labeled it. There's no more ADD.
But yeah, no,
But, I'm a details person, and
I
you
love
should hear
it.
and tells me stories of things going on, and then I'll be like, "Well, then what? Well
Mhm.
what kinda cancer do they have? Well, what hospital? Well, how" they don't give details.
Mhm. No,
I'm a
that's a
det
man thing.
and
Ugh.
that's how I explain stories because I feel like details matter, so I'm sorry if this is my stories are lengthy.
No, I was taking notes as you were talking, and I'm like, we're part 2 is gonna be good. That's all I'm saying. So, we'll get this lined up. We are in the beginning of motocross season. We just had Paula this weekend, so we will get this done ASAP. I'm here for it.
Okay. Well,
Sound
thank
good?
you for having me
Heck
and
yeah.
thinking of me and chatting.
Yeah, girl. We will have part 2 in your ears soon.